Okay. We're here to do illuminated archetype chart readings. So if you gave us your chart, you might be one of the lucky people that we're going to read your chart today. If not, don't worry. We do them again. But this is for the third archetype, the eternal child. And right now, Bella, you're going to share it in all the other groups. Share it in my group too. So this is for the eternal child. So it's the third archetype. This is the third gene key, the third gate, the third hexagram. We just call this one the eternal child because we're merging all of these systems together into one so that you understand it. If you go on to unlockyourdesign.com and the 64 doors, you can see the third archetype there under the third door. So you can learn more about that. We posted in Living Matrix, which is Bella's group, and we posted in Gene Key Global. So we are pulling charts from those two places, and we are just going to go into the third archetype, and then kind of weave parts of the chart in. We'll spend probably 1-2 minutes per chart. And if you are interested in having a live reading of your chart, we do have a link that we'll post later in the comments. If you're wanting us to illuminate your archetype, in your chart, in your design, we have one spot open for Thursday, and it is $144, and we'll go through your chart 30 to 40 minutes live and more in depth. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to us to be that lucky person on Thursday. But today we're just gonna dive into the charts that we saved and gathered from the other groups. So let's go look and see what we can pull up, Bella.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so this is Alex from. These are all from Gene Key Global, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is Alex, and this person has 3.3 in their attraction sphere. So let's see.
And that's a powerful one to have there. It feels like can be a lot of playfulness, but it can be quite chaotic if it goes to the shadow side, because it can be a lot of cutting and coming together and like just a lot of different experiences that might not always lead to innovation, but can feel kind of, what's the purpose? But a beautiful possibility for always new and always playful, and have that all the time coming to you through relationships.
How would you think this cross would impact that attraction sphere, since they're 5-1 and they have 45, 26, 36, and 6? This is the same as my son's incarnation cross, but that's an interesting cross, right?
Yeah, this is a super tricky cross. I have been speaking about it as a 6-2 before. And it, for me, when it's transpersonal, it is that, what does dominance mean? What does pride mean? Like, I feel like they're tricky because the 45 is a Gemini activation, so it always has two faces. So I would say it takes a while to crack the code in this cross, and that there is this very emotional inside. But many times when we have the 45 and the 26 that aren't emotional, they kind of they don't want to feel the feelings. So depending on if your emotions are validated when you were a child, they could be somewhere stored away, and that then you're not going to find your true core stability, and that's what we're going to see. It's not going to be able to take you up to the attraction and live it in the high frequency if you're not really embracing the radiance and the purpose, the emotional, the crisis and the turbulence, but also the empathy and the diplomacy and peace. So you have these two, Ashley, as well, but you have them on your conscious side. So maybe you know more about them than I do, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it too, with the 36 and the 6th in the body, then if this person's not achieving core stability through that peace and compassion, they're going to be in conflict and they're going to run away from people. And as you were talking, I was hearing all work and no play. Even though the third is about play, I think that you're here to play, and to play in your relationships, and also allow them to be your playground, right? It's not just work and what you can get done. Because I don't know why I heard all work and no play, because the third, and it's 3.3, and 3 is playfulness too. So it's a very playful attraction sphere. But if you are taking things too seriously, if it's in conflict, and you're just going to run away from relationships. And I think that since the Pearl's 22, there's a lot that you can explore in the realm of emotions, because the 36 is in the emotional center, and so is the 22. And as long as you can allow yourself to be vulnerable and go there with people, you could have a lot of really great relationships. But I know that for you, it's not just about one relationship, it's about having many different ones, right? Because of that third line. So just let yourself, I don't know, go there and play, and don't take things too serious. And also let people see the softer side of you, and let people see the vulnerable side of you. Like, you don't need to put on a face, because we have that pride, artfulness, invisibility. Is that me? I'm going to turn that off.
I'm going to see if it's me. It's probably me.
Mine is on too, so I just X'd out of it. Sorry for the noise. But yeah, that's just what I'm seeing. Oh, did you see the 62 and the 61?
Yeah, and I wanted to say what you were speaking about playfulness and me too. So the 26 is both the vocation and the evolution. So that's really a challenge, and that has to do with artfulness. So it's like, if you stop playing and you lose your artfulness, then your life is going to not like really play out in the way that you're here to like fuel your life force. And then the freedom, those are powerful. The 22 and the 55, they are very powerful. So especially when you have them in 6 and line 5, for me, the artfulness and the playfulness is so important. Mm-hmm. And then to embrace that, like we were saying, the emotional side. And then, these are, what would you say with the 61 and 62, Ashley? What was it?
I don't know. I think we need to move on. We spent a lot of time on this chart. Okay. I'm realizing, let's go to a different chart. But if you want to know more, you can reach out to me and Bella.
Yeah, let's see how I can make it smaller so I can move on to the next one.
There we go.
It's too big. I don't know how to make it smaller. Okay, no. Can you see? It's too small.
3.3 in the EQ. Oh, there we go. That's good.
Yeah, here it's the same activation, the 3-3, but it's in the emotions. So here the other one was the third line too. So that's probably one thing I would have said, that we would see, in that chart, we would say, don't run away from your emotions. But the EQ in the third line can be evasive, can actually look on the outside like it's emotional, but it's kind of actually escaping something through maybe playing out emotions, but it's not really in the emotions. So I would say with the third line EQ, be aware. Maybe you are a little bit like playing theater. Sometimes you might cry but not even feel it so much. So I would say be aware of how you play out your emotions, and how you might escape from the things that you felt when you were 8 to 14 and you don't want to feel again. That's kind of what stands out for me with the 3-3 and the EQ.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, and I'm looking at the 3 with the keynote sympathy and apathy. I feel that if a child in this age did not have that sympathy from the parents, then they might try to run away from their emotions, like you were saying, because if someone's not giving them that space and compassion to be able to process these, and I feel like the mind, we have 52.2 in the mind, and that mind is a very smart and tricky and witty mind, but stress can be generated, and then the biofeedback loop is, okay, here's the stress, now there's the chaos of the emotions, and then that loop just keeps going. But if you can take a moment, especially because your life's work is 20, which is presence, if you can take a moment and just breathe and go, center yourself for a moment and get into that quiet place within you, you can observe the storm swirling around you, the chaos and the storm of everything swirling around you, and allow yourself to just get into the middle so that you can observe instead of being in the thick of it, and give yourself that sympathy and that compassion that you need instead of reacting to your mind and trying to avoid your emotions. Because the mind is so tricky that it's probably doing all it can to keep you from feeling the chaos of your emotions, because it probably feels like, oh, we're going to die there. Let's not go there. You know, because the mind's there to protect you from the emotions. It'll shield you from those emotions in the IQ. So you'll have created a lot of patterns to keep you from feeling the stress, to keep you from feeling the chaos. So you're going to always go a certain route instead of letting yourself be with your emotions.
Yeah, I feel what you were saying, you know, a lot of stillness, a lot of presence, a lot of relaxation basically is needed for you to unlock your role modeling. And when you unlock that role modeling, that's when your true masculine, feminine, your yin and yang are going to come through. That's what your essence is. But before you find that stillness inside, there is a risk of having a lot of busyness, of having a lot of reactions, even in what you're creating in the outer world, to really come into the stillness, the divine will, the presence, and then unlock the 37, that which is your essence. And it's going to nurture that role modeling in you from a place of competence, from a place of like what's your life force, more than a busy place.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can make it.
Okay. 3.1 in the SQ. $35, $5, $63, and $64. So this is Deidre. 3.1. So with this archetype being the eternal child, and the child being the SQ is actually your inner child too, and your inner feminine. So it's cool that you have this eternal child in the SQ. So with the first line is all about certainty. So in order for you to unlock and open your heart, you have to feel that certainty, that security. Because as a child, the chaos, if you didn't have, okay, let me see what I'm trying to say. Because my son, it's so interesting because my son Ben, I just saw his incarnation cross in another person's chart, and he has the 3.1 in this as well. If you didn't have the opportunity to tap into your imagination and be able to innovate, you're going to be having to come back to that and relearn that and come into that later as an adult. It's going to be really hard for you to tap into that if you weren't given the space to be creative and to make messes, and to if your parents didn't allow you that space to be innovative and creative, you're going to feel that like longing, that inner child's going to want to do that. But maybe you were conditioned to like, things need to be in order. We need to have simplicity. There's too much stress here. Let's not get in the mess, because the mess might create stress. The mess might create complexity. So you're never letting yourself go into that to be able to innovate. That could be something that could happen. Because I definitely see it in my son he'll just like make huge messes and then like create with the mess. So that's kind of what your inner child is great at doing. And that's what's going to open your heart up, is through that innovation and returning to that innocence. So, yeah.
And 1-3 profile, trial and error, a lot of investigative energy, culture, evolution, SQ, EQ. But ultimately, there has to be some playfulness, some trial and error. It's there, and some confusion too. So because that's how the epiphanies 43, 30, 23 are programming partners, and also
the 24.
Yeah, exactly. So it's there. So there are epiphanies, but they come through a process that you kind of have to allow its own way of happening. And this is also Richard Rad's cross, but opposite. So there is a lot of potential for genius, but for you, it happened through your own investigation and some trial and error.
Mm-hmm. And detachment too. I mean, we have that 42 in the culture. So allow the processes to be what it needs to be, because you're here to be that like conductor for the spark to happen and the epiphanies to come through. It's going to take your playing with things a little bit, and then also being open to receive what's coming down for you without having expectation. It's like as open as you can be, surrender to the mess, surrender to the chaos, be like a kid in that way, where you just like engulf yourself in it and you become it. And that's where you're going to start having those epiphanies.
And I actually feel, this is spontaneous, but I feel for this person is, when it comes to your personal life, feel when, that actually you can include others and it's safe speak with others your emotional truth and your truth. And in your work, you probably work best alone. So there is this thing, personal, include others, become empowered with others, but in your work, you're probably somebody who will be a creator of your own brand, of your own whatever it is you're doing.
That's great.
Fiona. This is your cross. No, it's opposite your cross, but these are your 4 gene keys, and she also has the the 51-6 in the 3-6.
And the 3.
Oh, you're born like together or something. I don't know.
We are. Let's see. March. No. Yeah, but that's the cross of the plane. We both have the 51 and the 3. So yeah, that's wild. The 3.6 in the pearl. I love that the 3 and the 1 are together, because I feel that there's big like creativeness in the 1 as well, because first it's like trust in the waves. Trust in the waves of your creativity. You're not always going to be pregnant with all of these creative ideas and, oh my gosh, all this stuff is happening, I'm so exciting. It's going to spark. It's going to shock. And that's just who you are with your 51.6. Man, look at everything in the pearl sequence is a 6 line.
Yeah.
That's insane. This is like a person from the future. What you are putting out into the world is very like futuristic. And also,
oh my God, like it's so interesting. The 3, the 1, and the 51. It's all about the spark, the shock, and the innovation.
Yeah, and then the 36 is the crisis. But I like to call it's just potential. It's potential for things to happen. And you have to have the 36 because that's what's going to bring you the things that you're going to innovate with, that you're going to create with. That's where the freshness and the beauty and the everything just comes from this. So you have to be open. Live your life open-hearted, because when you can live your life open-hearted, even though the chaos is coming, even though the conflict and the turbulence is coming, just plunge into life and surrender to life and just have compassion for whatever is going on, whether it's you or it's the other. It's all about living life with an open heart, because that's what you're going to create from that open heart. Don't close off your heart, because I see you have 60.4. Whenever there's a feeling like I could be rejected or I don't belong here, you're going to wall off your heart and not include anyone else, because that's a lot of limitation. So don't put too many walls around your heart. Magic can happen for you if you live with your life open, with your heart open to life.
Yeah, and don't compromise ever. With all these 6 lines, don't compromise. And especially when it comes to sexuality, being a 6-line sexuality, don't compromise. Do have your animalistic nature, your human heart, like Ashley was saying, but also know that this is a place of creation for you. So that 6 line is all the colors of the rainbow and everything you can have. And that's don't stop. Like, go for that quest. Be a 6 line. Don't compromise in your life. You're here to be embodying that role modeling.
Wow, very cool. So many 6 lines. Mm-hmm.
Gloria, now.
Gloria, yeah, 3.1. So 1, 3. Oh, we have the 62. Is this the cross of laws? Is that what this is? Laws?
Yeah. No, it's not. Is it? No, because that's with the 51 and the 31 together with the 3 and 50.
Well, it's interesting because we have the 60 and the 56 and we have the 3, which is very innovative. And then the 60 and the 56 is like the container for magic to happen in. So don't constrict yourself so much that you can't innovate. First line, let's see, 6. Oh, we got 6 again in the vocation.
Yeah.
Style. You're going to be doing it your own way. Your creation is of your own style, right? The pearl is 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, I feel something here with a childhood that wasn't easy. Vocation 6 line, SQ 6 line, and then the 3-1 is the life's work. So like something in the beginning of the life that wasn't easy, but that was perfect for you. You are here to have those first years in your life, and that is what is going to ultimately make you a creator of something in this world. But it's going to happen because you bumped into things, and instead of seeing yourself as a victim, you saw yourself as enriched by life. And that's ultimately also how you will open your heart in relationship, open your heart in emotions, open your heart like for the collective and in the collective, and embrace everything. And that's how your own power comes through, your own unique style. But it really comes, it feels like there is kind of a infinity eight that you could go in loops around your childhood, or around like even not your childhood, but before that, like coming into the wrong planet. And that could be extremely stressful for you, and you could be very dissatisfied. But it is all about coming back to your magic, and seeing those things that might have happened as something enriching. And if you don't remember, it's like, know that the soul is more than what it remembers, and than what you remember, I would say.
Mm-hmm. They have 3.2 in the IQ as well. Gloria does.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So again, I feel like with the 6.6 and the 2.4, we have it in the culture and the vocation. Whenever you're faced with conflict, whenever you're faced with, like, I feel like especially in your relationships, you're wanting to understand them. And so you're going to need to sort out the details. You're going to have to like make sense and order things and organize things, because if you can put it into a container and start to make sense of it, that's where the magic is going to happen. That's where stuff's going to unfold and unlock for you, because you're wanting to understand your relationships. And the way that your mind works is it's going to need to put things in order. It's going to need to take the mess of things and make sense of it through order. So that's kind of what I'm receiving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is small. Let's see. Another 1-3. So many 1-3s today. And same cross, but flipped.
Yeah. 3.3 in radiance. Oh, so they are the eternal child, because if that's their light and that's what's unlocking for them. So if you can get through the challenge of your mind, what unlocks for you is that eternal child for everybody to see. And yes, it's a third line too. So it's all about playfulness, and it is about trial and error, and it is about play and potential and possibility. So with the 56 can get distracted, right? And then the 60 can put itself in boxes, limit itself. And then when you can come through the distraction and the limitation and liberate yourself into that freedom, you're able to barrel into that like one point of your heart in that SQ, where we have the 35, which is all about the adventure inside. It's not the hunger outside, it's the adventure inside. So that inner adventure is where you're going to meet your inner child, and where all of that light is going to be unraveled from your DNA, so that you can become that eternal child. But you have to not be distracted and not put yourself in boxes, or look and focus on the limitation and the lack of things. What else would you say?
Yeah, I feel like there's a powerful work in the Venus sequence here with the 45. We had that before, and I always say that one is kind of tricky. It's this Gemini gate. So I feel like there is Venus work to do, because what you're really here to do, I mean, for me, what stands out a lot is the Pearl sequence, because you have those, divine will, and then the sexuality, and then the enrichment and living by the senses, and then the complete commitment and wholeheartedness. Like, this is a very magical Pearl sequence to me. And I feel like in order to be able to live these out in the higher frequencies, because it's so easy to live it out in society today, we see all the other ones. We see dishonesty, exhaustion, half-heartedness, and distraction. This is like the main 4 ingredients, basically. So for me, that's the true life. You are coming here as an empowered being, living out your true self in the higher frequencies of intimacy, enrichment, your own solutions, and your commitment. And that's going to take what Ashley was speaking about, some of the Venus work, to be able to really underpin this beautiful Merkaba to kind of the future. Yeah.
Did you want to do some from Living Matrix?
Yeah, let's go and do some from Living Matrix. I even wanted to see if there was I actually wanted to do, how does this look? Can you see it on your, yeah? I want to do a human design one. We have never done that.
Where is the 3?
Oh, maybe the 3 is not there. Yeah, it's in stability sphere. Saturn on the design side.
Oh, there it is. Is that 3.3?
Yeah, again 3.3.
Wow.
Make it bigger.
There we go. So we have the inner masculine is 3.3.
So that's stability. I mean, for me, and then instability in the Gene Keys, we say that the third line is choicelessness. So you're masculine. You're gonna have to find stability even when it's chaotic, and kind of know that life is choiceless, and being able to not care so much if there's laughter or joy, but just knowing that that's part of life. And when you can be stable in that, you are going to be stable for yourself, and you're going to create stability in your life. So for me, that is super important. And also with all the activations that you have in your sacral center, you really, you are a sacral being, and you really want to live from that life force, and you're also a manifesting generator, and you have that direct typical 34-20, and that this is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So this is also what comes in the collective energies. So I mean, for me, this is a powerful emotional generator. You want to sleep on things before you make decisions. Could be quite exhausting for you, especially in family relationships, if you don't sleep on things and just make decisions when you're really happy or really not happy. And actually, do we want to say something about completely open-headed ajna? That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Nothing even pointing up from the throat to the head in the ajna.
No, just a receptor for ideas, for innovation, and also plugging into other people as well. So I would say definitely use your sacral response after you've waited out the emotional wave to decide what you're going to do and what ideas you're going to act on, because they're not generated from you. They kind of just plop in. And so you have to make sure they're aligned for you and your design, because you're not generating these ideas. They're just coming for you. So asking you, do I want to respond to this? Is this something I want to do? So the inner masculine or the stability is 3.3, and the feminine we have 42.5. So you said choicelessness, and then we also have detachment and death. And the 3, they have the 3 and the 60 linked, but they don't have the 53 and the 42. So and it's unconscious. So I don't know, just embrace the cycles of things as well. Right? You're gonna have an idea, you're gonna act on it, but then it's going to run its course as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, there is a kind of leadership, and here we could say, detriment in 7 and 31, and it's it's a second line. So people might project on you that you're a good leader or a bad leader. There is this kind of potential for victimization. So looking at leadership and looking if you a leadership that doesn't open up for victimization and dishonesty, which are the low frequencies of 59 and 55, but a leadership where that is natural and that is kind of asked for, and when you are unlocking higher frequencies of freedom and higher frequencies of transparency. So I would say there is something about leadership here that is going to make you, to really make your voice come out in the world is kind of how I feel about when I look at the personality side.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Let's see. How can I close this? Okay.
Oh, I'm probably going to have to go soon, so let's do one more.
Another 3-5 here.
Where's the 3? There's no 3 in this one.
No 3. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Here there's a 3 in the evolution.
62, 61, 3. So this is a 5-1.
I see a lot of leadership in this one too. How do you also feel like that?
Well, I see the 21. So yes. In the SQ. Let's see. 57. Oh, 31. 31 and 21.
And then being a 5-1. So I would say a strong leadership theme.
think I'm gonna have to go.
You can go. I can continue if you want to. If you. But let's do this chart and then.
Okay, how about you? I'll remove myself and you do the chart. I'll be back.
Okay. So this one has, like we were saying, a leadership theme being a 5-1, and then the SQ is 21, the IQ is 31. And I feel like this leadership actually has to do with spontaneous expression and intuition. So it's a leadership that is absolutely not from the head. It comes from inspiration, it comes from intuition, it comes from spontaneous expression, and that there's a voice that wants to come through for sure here. And then the core wound. I mean, there can be this probably way of doubting yourself or doubting things or feeling a little bit numb. So I would say there's some work to do with the Mars activation. This is the design Mars and this is the personality Mars. And you're here to unlock something, to make sure that you don't numb down, that you don't function from your mind, but that the whole of you're here to inquire truth. Basically, your core wound or vocation, what fuels your life's work is that you find your truth and that you speak it in the world. And the way you speak it in the world is going to lead to magical solutions in the world. Yeah, and a lot of flow is also what's going to make you more stable. There is this theme of projection from others, but I would say don't actually get stuck in that. You are here to be in your own intuition, in your own authority, and you have actually, this is a tantric gate. So you're here to be recognized for being you, is what I would say. Let's do one more and see if Ashley comes back. Just one more, Christina. So here we have, again, where's life's work? Yeah, I feel this is a powerful chart. It's a 2-4. So on the outside, it might look quite like life is flowing naturally and there are not so many problems. But on the inside, I feel there are many, many deep themes. And the core wound, I'm wondering, no, it's not the 48 that Richard is using. I think he's using it here. The 48 has to do with inadequacy. And it can be situations of guilt or blame, and there is a forgiveness needed. So I think there are some deeper themes here. On the outside, I do feel that it's a 2-4 profile. And then we have the core wound of inadequacy. We also have the 14 that could be a compromise and the 6 line. So when it comes to your life force, you're here to feel enrichment in relationship. You're here to feel like you can breathe with the other. You're here to be even grounded in that breath and the enrichment of living here with all your senses. And when you're not grounded in that, it can feel a lot like a compromise in relationship, a compromise in sexuality, in that you're not, this is a double theme of compromise because the 14 is compromise and the 6 line is also compromise. So I would say it's very, very, very important for you to fulfill yourself first in the 2nd line, have the right friendships in the 4th line so that you can feel grounded, so that you can enrich your life and actually find the magic with others so you can start to breathe. And then the attraction can actually be your pure life force, 14, together with your role modeling what new relationships are. And then that is going to open up your toolbox that you are here to use that has to do with an enormous depth. And also your pearl is about risk-taking, about being you, a Scorpio gate. And also something that you're doing here, this is what Richard uses for the culture sphere in the book, 44. Have the fractal coming together, the soul fractals, and it's all about teamwork and synergy. So wherever you work, I think that you can see in any organization or even wherever you are, you can see how parts come together and how everybody's in the right place for having true teamwork and synergy. And that doesn't mean that you have to work with people around you all the time. I feel like for you, the people are more the close relationships and the close friends, and then maybe the way that you work in your life every day is more on an individual plane. Yeah. And let's see. I think I want to do Kimberly because I know that you have been posting Kimberly in our to become a feature profile just when we didn't have a feature profile this week. So here we have it in the pearl, and this is the cross of the vessel of love, and we have a 2-5. So this is a profile that is very unusual, and it has that theme of projection. So like we had the 2-4 before, it is about fulfilling yourself first. It is about finding the way of being happy being here in physical form. So that is probably a challenge for you to really trust this form, to really accept what it is to be here in this form, and to fulfill yourself and feel natural in this form. And then you have the 5th line. So for you, it's not finding the right friends and finding your breath. For you, it's finding your voice, finding your vibration. That is what's going to make you grounded. And it has a lot to do with self-love and behaving in a way so that you feel grounded, so that you feel love for yourself. And there's a magnetism to you. You're powerful. You have a lot of radiance. And that could go to extremes in the low frequencies. So I've seen you sometimes I've seen you both being vulnerable and powerful, which is kind of the same thing, but it can feel kind of extreme in that 15. And then you have a lot of versatility in relationships. It can also be a kind of indifference. And maybe that when you have some extremes, or when you are going from being all about self-love or not having self-love, that can feel sometimes like a bit scattered in relationships, or it can feel like the heart is not, sometimes go colds and sometimes get warms with people. And that in that case would go up to the vocation, and you may be trying to figuring it out instead of living the precision. There's something very precise that is here to fuel this quest of being here in physical form and being in ecstasy. And the pearl, well, there is a playfulness, like there is an innovation in you, and you're here to be recognized for it. So that's your essence. And you have a powerful voice again that is kind of accepting death and life. So that's a powerful theme too. And I wish I could see your stability, because then maybe if we could look at the Saturn, we would understand what can soften the extremes a bit. And also looking at the Venus sequence, there is this theme of a little bit of like the kindness or the meanness on the inside. It can have some emotional imprinting that I feel could throw you into the shadow frequency and not allow you to have your core stability. So like I always say, the Venus work is important, and you have a certain way of like looking for everything in the big perspective and to kind of expecting perfection. But that could actually trap you, because you are here to unlock the oppression that you might have felt as an adolescent, or the not having really safe role models when you were a child. So you're here to become that role model for yourself. And every time the inner child kind of isn't happy, feels hunger, isn't happy, doesn't feel adventure, you are here to be that stable parent. So that is also going to unlock and make the pearl sequence be underpinned, you could say, by the Venus sequence. So I am not sure if we are going to have Ashley come back. So let's see. Is this the one I looked at? Should we do one more? Somebody I haven't done. That's Marita. Patricia. Did I do Marita? I think I did her in the Swedish group. Victoria. And this didn't have. So Victoria, last one. We have done like an hour now, I think. So again, here we have it in life's work. I feel in this chart, so this is a 2-4 again. So fulfill yourself first. Make sure that you have a relationship where you can mirror yourself in the other, where you feel that dance with the other and you learn more about yourself through the other. And also very important with the right friendships. Otherwise you could feel limitations. Otherwise you could feel like you're not able to breathe and ground and enrich yourself. But instead, there will be a lot of distraction and kind of shallow breathing in your life. And when you have distraction and shallow breathing in your life, nothing can ground. The purpose is the way you ground in this. It's both the way you ground in this body and life and the reason for why you're here. So the inner reason for why you're here is your heart, your breath, and to live a life that is enriching with all your senses. And then that is going to lead up to the wholesome relationships that you're here to live. And for you to kind of go from that core wound that a little bit could feel like you're coming down to the wrong planet and you don't know how to express yourself spontaneously with your own flavor. But when you have the activation sequence firing right, so that you are this person that you're fulfilling yourself first, you have the relationships that are nurturing you have the friendships that are nurturing you are grounded in the enrichment of yourself, you have wholesome relationships, then it's going to open up for you to be that expression, that unique style that you're here to be. And it's taking you in to be, I feel like you are a storyteller. The 33 comes from the throat center, the same as the 8, and you're here to tell the story. And probably you're here to tell the story in groups of maximum 15 people. That's when your storytelling is the most powerful, and your storytelling is kind of a retreat from the normal world, and people come together with you and then you tell stories. You're not going to point fingers at people. You have a strong leadership that you're here to embody, but it doesn't come from pointing your fingers. There's nothing in your chart actually that comes from pointing the fingers. There's only one fifth line, which is the EQ, which has to do with your emotional triggers in close relationships. So your leadership is much more a natural leadership, almost maybe a reluctant leadership that comes from listening deeply. But that deep listening is only going to happen once you have healed the inner child, once you have been that parent for yourself, once you're giving yourself the peace and the patience and the space that you need, that maybe you didn't get as a child. That's when you really can come in and start to speak, because you might have a tendency to be in the contemplative mind and not share, but everything in your chart says share it. It might be a little bit complicated in the beginning, 3-2, difficult in the beginning, but life wants you to share your versatility, to come into your unique style, to be that storyteller, to live out your leadership. But your leadership is coming from celebration. That is your essence is celebration in leadership. So that's why it's not forcing anything for you. It's all about what's natural, what's you, and being able to step into that. So I think that we are going to probably see. Yeah, so I'm just going to end it here because I don't think that Ashley is going to come back. And we are doing readings for also like 40 minutes. If you want to sign up and do yours in one of the transits, that's going to be on Thursdays. And please look out for when we post about the 27 today or tomorrow, because next Tuesday we're going to come on again in probably earlier in the day so that Europeans can be part of it. And we're going to do the same. So 5-10 minutes on each chart. And if you are also looking at the comments, if you are on live, you can also comment or ask a question about your chart. So as long as you post your charts and you're live, I can almost promise that we will get to your chart on the Tuesdays when we do short readings. Thank you, everybody. Bye.